Welcome to our Cinematic Storycraft English Learning YouTube channel. Today is very interesting story, My First Day at University. This story is helpful for your English learning listening and speaking skills, so listen carefully and feel free and enjoy the story. The morning sun peeked through the curtains, casting a warm glow across my room. My heart raced as I glanced at the clock. 6 a.m. Today was the day, my first day at university. I had been waiting for this moment for years, dreaming about it ever since I was a kid. I imagined what it would be like, the people I would meet, the things I would learn. But now that the day had arrived, the excitement was mingled with a bit of nervousness. I got dressed, choosing my clothes carefully, nothing too flashy, but something that made me feel confident. My mother had already prepared breakfast, and as I sat down, she looked at me with a mixture of pride and nostalgia. "You're going to do great," she said, handing me my bag. "Just be yourself." I smiled, feeling the weight of the day slowly lift. After breakfast, I grabbed my bag and stepped outside. The world seemed different today. The streets, the people, everything felt new, like I was seeing it for the first time. As I walked to the bus stop, my mind raced with questions. Would I make friends? Would I get lost on campus? What if the professors were too strict? The bus arrived, and I found a seat near the window. The ride seemed longer than usual, and I couldn't help but feel butterflies in my stomach. By the time we reached the campus, the reality of the moment hit me. The university was huge, far larger than I had imagined. Students were everywhere, walking in groups, some with headphones on, others chatting excitedly. I took a deep breath and stepped off the bus. The campus was a maze of buildings, each with its own unique architecture. I pulled out my map, trying to figure out where my first class was. As I stood there, someone tapped me on the shoulder. "Need help?" a voice asked. I turned around to see a tall guy with glasses, holding a coffee cup. "You look a little lost." I laughed nervously and nodded. "Yeah, it's my first day. I'm trying to find the science building." "Ah, you're in luck. I'm heading that way. Come on, I'll show you." He introduced himself as Mark, a second-year student. As we walked, he gave me tips on surviving the first week. "Don't worry too much about finding friends right away. It'll happen naturally. Just focus on getting to your classes on time, and don't be afraid to ask for help." Mark was easy to talk to, and before I knew it, we had reached the science building. "Here you go," he said. "Good luck with your first class." I thanked him and entered the building, feeling a bit more confident now. The lecture hall was massive, filled with students, some chatting, others already engrossed in their laptops. I found a seat near the back and sat down, trying to blend in. As I looked around, I realized how diverse the crowd was. People from different cultures, with different styles, were all gathered here, and it made me feel like I was part of something bigger. The professor walked in and introduced herself with a warm smile. "Welcome to your first day of university life," she began. "This journey is going to be exciting, challenging, and transformative." Her words resonated with me. This wasn't just another school year. It was the beginning of something important, something that would shape the rest of my life. The lecture was engaging, but I found myself distracted by everything around me. The students, the atmosphere, the realization that I was really here. When the class ended, I gathered my things and headed to my next lecture. I was beginning to get the hang of the campus layout, and soon I found myself in a smaller classroom for a seminar. This class was more intimate, with only about 20 students. The professor encouraged everyone to introduce themselves. When it was my turn, I stood up, feeling a bit awkward, but determined to make a good impression. "Hi, I'm Rose," I said, "and this is my first day at university." A few people smiled, and I sat down, relieved to have that over with. As the day went on, I started to relax. I grabbed lunch at the campus cafe, where I bumped into a group of students from my seminar class. They invited me to join them, and before long, we were chatting about everything, from our favorite books to what we were most nervous about in university life. There was Emily, an art major with bright purple hair, and Daniel, a business student who already seemed to have his life planned out. We talked about our hometowns, our dreams, and the things we were most looking forward to at university. It was comforting to know that I wasn't alone in feeling a mix of excitement and anxiety. Everyone was in the same boat, trying to find their way in this new environment. The rest of the day passed in a blur of lectures and introductions. By the time my last class ended, I felt exhausted but accomplished. I had survived my first day. As I made my way to the bus stop, the campus looked different again, but this time it felt more familiar. The buildings, the paths, and the faces I had seen throughout the day no longer seemed as intimidating. I knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, but I felt ready to face them. When I got home, my parents were eager to hear about my day. I told them about the people I had met, the classes I had attended, and how nervous I had been at first. My mother smiled knowingly. "It'll get easier," she said. "Soon, this will feel like your second home." I lay in bed that night, thinking about everything that had happened. University wasn't just about classes and textbooks. It was about experiences, about meeting people who would challenge me, inspire me, and help me grow. My first day had been overwhelming, but it had also been exhilarating. I had taken the first step on a journey that would shape who I was and who I would become. As I drifted off to sleep, I couldn't help but smile. The adventure had just begun. Comment your feedback, like and subscribe our channel.